From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Aylia Batool. Our top story for today: the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. government. The complaint is aimed at the State Department, the Department of Defense, and the White House. CAIR is accusing U.S. officials of ignoring reports of Israeli human rights violations in Gaza. It claims the Biden administration covered up evidence of genocide. The suit alleges that despite internal warnings, former President Joe Biden and his Secretary of State Antony Blinken failed to stop the killings. Palestinian American families who lost loved ones in Israeli attacks are behind the legal action. They say American weapons were used in the genocide. CAIR also highlights the influence of Israeli lobby groups on U.S. policies. Executive Director Nihad Awad says officials failed to act due to political pressure. A separate lawsuit challenges the U.S. government for abandoning Palestinian Americans in Gaza. It claims that the State Department failed to evacuate them, violating their constitutional rights. While other Americans were rescued from war zones, Palestinian Americans were ignored. Lawyers say the U.S. must protect its citizens regardless of their background. They demand urgent action before more lives are lost. Since October 2023, Israel has destroyed 89% of mosques in Gaza. Out of 1,244 mosques, 1,109 stand in ruins, 834 have been destroyed, and 275 severely damaged. Palestinian authorities say the destruction is vast, with religious sites and institutions heavily targeted. A Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs official speaking outside the demolished Al-Umari Mosque confirms that Israeli forces also destroyed 3 churches. The ministry reported that 40 out of Gaza's 60 cemeteries have been attacked, with 21 completely wiped out. Religious education has come to a halt as 643 endowment properties have been destroyed. The toll on religious leaders is severe. 315 imams and preachers have been killed and 27 ministry staff members detained. A truce has been in place since January 19th, halting Israel's genocide, which has killed more than 61,000 Palestinians, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes. Israel also faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice. U.S. tech giants are boosting Israel's military with AI, raising concerns over civilian casualties. A media investigation by the Associated Press reveals that Microsoft and OpenAI's AI tools are helping the Israeli military identify and target alleged militants in Gaza and Lebanon. The use of AI surged after October 7, 2023, with the military relying on it for surveillance, intelligence analysis, and target selection. Microsoft signed a $133 million deal with Israel's defense ministry in 2021, giving the military top priority access to its services. Google, Amazon, Cisco, and Palantir also provide AI and cloud computing under a $1.2 billion deal with Israel called Project Nimbus. Israel's army claims that AI helps minimize civilian harm, but critics warn of flawed algorithms and faulty data. OpenAI's Whisper tool used for translation has been flagged for misinterpreting communications in Arabic. Internal dissent is growing. Microsoft and Google employees have protested their firm's military ties, leading to some worker dismissals. With a fragile Gaza ceasefire in place, Israel plans to expand AI use across all military branches, deepening the role of big tech in modern warfare. A federal judge has declined to temporarily restrict Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, from accessing federal data systems. The order is a setback to a coalition of 14 Democratic state attorney generals challenging Musk's role in the Trump administration. Last week, they filed a federal lawsuit arguing that Musk's broad authority violates the U.S. Constitution's appointment clause. District Judge Tanya Chutkan denied their request for a temporary restraining order, citing no imminent, irreparable harm. She also acknowledges concerns over Musk's authority without Senate confirmation. The U.S. Constitution requires principal officers of the government to be nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate. In related news, President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk have responded to allegations of conflicts of interest. In a joint interview with Fox News, Trump commended Musk for his work on federal agency audits, cost-cutting initiatives, and efforts to reduce waste. Trump appointed Musk to the Department of Government Efficiency with the stated aim to eliminating wasteful spending. Since then, Musk has laid off over 9,500 federal employees. Trump praised what he calls Musk's innovative thinking and ability to attract high IQ talent, which he said was contributing to the success. When questioned about potential conflicts between Musk's private business interests and his government work, Trump said he won't be involved if there is a conflict. Musk said that he has never asked the president for anything and would step back from any situation where a conflict of interest may arise. New Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. has announced an investigation into childhood vaccination schedules and the use of antidepressant drugs. He claims these, along with other factors, could be linked to rising chronic illnesses. Speaking to Health and Human Services staff, Kennedy vows to examine long-overlooked issues. These include electromagnetic radiation, ultra-processed foods, allergies, and microplastics. Kennedy said these factors were previously considered taboo or not sufficiently studied. Kennedy, who has faced criticism for his stance on vaccines, defended himself against accusations of being anti-vaccine. He insisted he supports key vaccines such as for measles and polio, but wants to ensure all medical treatments are safe. Analysts say his investigation is expected to fuel debate over vaccine policies and public health regulations. Trump orders firing of Biden-era U.S. attorneys. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back. President Donald Trump has ordered the firing of all remaining attorneys appointed during Joe Biden's presidency. Trump announced the move on his Truth Social platform, claiming the Justice Department has been politicized like never before. He claims it was necessary to clean house and restore fairness in the justice system. The U.S. has 93 attorneys serving as top law enforcement officers in their districts. Replacing them is common when a new administration takes over. Trump's White House has sent termination notices to several Biden-appointed U.S. attorneys. Observers say the move signals a major shakeup in the Justice Department. Lebanon's civil defense has recovered the bodies of 23 people from towns in its southern region following the withdrawal of Israeli forces under a ceasefire agreement. The civil defense said its rescue teams, working in coordination with the Lebanese army, are conducting search and field assessment operations in areas affected by Israeli attacks. The bodies will undergo necessary medical and legal examinations, including DNA testing, under the supervision of relevant authorities to confirm identities. Although the Israeli army has withdrawn from the villages and towns it occupied in southern Lebanon during the recent war, it remains stationed at 5 points along the border inside Lebanese territory. Israel was initially expected to complete its full withdrawal from southern Lebanon by January 26th, in line with the ceasefire agreement. However, it requested an extension until February 18th. Sudan's army has warned that it will fight any attempt to establish a parallel government. Sovereign Council member Yasser al-Atta made this clear while addressing troops in Al-Daba, northern Sudan. His comments came after a conference in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, where opposition leaders and armed groups discussed forming a rival government. Key figures present included National Ummah Party leader Fadl Allah Burma Nasser and paramilitary Rapid Support Forces Deputy Commander Abdul Rahim Dagalo. Al-Atta has vowed to fight the RSF and accused foreign powers of conspiring against Sudan. He declares that the Sudanese people have become the army's backbone. The Sudanese army and RSF have been at war since April 2023. The conflict has killed more than 20,000 people and displaced 14 million, with reports putting the death toll at 130,000. The army controls most of Sudan's capital, Khartoum, while RSF fighters remain in pockets. International calls for peace are growing as millions face famine amid the worsening crisis. Amnesty International is calling on French lawmakers to reject legislation that bans headscarves and religious symbols in sports. The bill, which is set for debate in the Senate, extends restrictions across all sports in France. Amnesty warns that the move will deepen racism and discrimination, particularly against Muslim women. The human rights organization also insists that all women should have the right to choose their attire, calling the ban an attack on religious freedom under the guise of secularism. The organization says French authorities have a history of targeting Muslim women's attire, with existing bans enforced by sports federations. The bill, introduced by Senator Michael Savin, also seeks to ban collective prayers in public sports facilities. Afghanistan's Taliban-led administration has raised concerns over the mass expulsions of Afghan refugees from Pakistan. The Afghan embassy in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, said Afghan nationals are being arrested, searched, and forced to leave it and its sister city, Rawalpindi, without any formal notice. The embassy said Pakistan has not officially communicated this action. It has reached out to the UN Refugee Agency, which also is unaware of the situation. Afghan officials have held multiple meetings with Pakistani authorities seeking clarification on whether these actions are official policies or isolated incidents. Last year, Pakistan declared that undocumented Afghans could no longer stay in Islamabad and Rawalpindi. The decision followed claims that Afghan refugees participated in a protest by the opposition party Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. In October 2023, Pakistan launched a repatriation plan sending more than 757,000 undocumented Afghans back to their country. Pakistan's foreign ministry dismissed the embassy's concerns, saying Islamabad has hosted millions of Afghans for decades with dignity and respect. It urged Afghanistan to create conditions for returnees to reintegrate into Afghan society. Police in Indian-occupied Kashmir have raided bookstores, seizing 668 Islamic books. The raids began last Friday in the city of Srinagar. Police cited what it said was credible intelligence about the sale of literature promoting Islamic socio-political group Jamaat-e-Islami's ideology. Most books were published by Markazi Maktaba Islami publishers, who are affiliated with Jamaat-e-Islami Hind, a major Islamic group. Its namesake Jamaat-e-Islami Jammu and Kashmir was banned in Kashmir in 2019, months before the Indian government revoked Kashmir's long-standing semi-autonomy. Neither the publisher nor Jamaat-e-Islami Hind is banned. Many seized books were written by Abul Ala Maududi, Jamaat-e-Islami's founder and a key philosopher of the Muslim world. Booksellers were ordered to surrender such books and halt further sales. Police expanded searches across Kashmir, claiming the material violated legal regulations. The crackdown has sparked criticism from political and religious leaders who call it a violation of fundamental rights. Jamaat leaders also denounced the move, arguing the books were legally published. The Indian government's crackdown comes amid growing restrictions in the region, stifling dissent. Kashmir remains a flashpoint, with India and Pakistan both claiming the disputed territory, while local tensions continue to rise. Bahrain is hosting a conference to strengthen Islamic unity and solidarity and unify perspectives on key issues. The Intra-Islamic Dialogue Conference is attended by Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib, the Grand Imam of Egypt's Al-Azhar, along with more than 400 prominent scholars, thinkers, and stakeholders from across the globe. The two-day event ending Thursday is co-organized by Al-Azhar University, Bahrain's Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, and Muslim Council of Elders. Addressing the opening session, Al-Tayyib hailed the Arab and Islamic rejection of President Donald Trump's plan to relocate Palestinians from their land. Trump has announced a proposal to take over Gaza and forcibly transfer its Palestinian inhabitants to develop it into what he calls the Riviera of the Middle East. Al-Tayyib said Palestine remains the guiding compass and central cause to Islamic unity. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.